Welcome to QuickSpeak, the English podcast that helps you navigate the world one conversation at a time.
Yeah.
Today, we're tackling a question that's on a lot of people's minds.
Okay.
Is college still worth it these days?
It's a big question.
It is.
And there's so many different things to think about.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're going to explore the different sides of this question.
Okay.
Look at some other paths that you could take and give you the vocabulary you need to talk about this in English.
We'll really try to give you a more complete picture.
Exactly. So let's jump right in.
Okay.
One of the first things that comes to mind for a lot of people is the cost.
Right.
College is really expensive.
It's true in the United States, for example.
Yeah.
The average student graduates with over $30,000 in debt.
Wow.
That's like the price of a brand new car.
That's a lot of money to owe right out of school.
It is.
It makes you wonder if the benefit of a college degree really outweighs the cost.
That's what a lot of people are asking these days, especially when you consider the success stories of people like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, or Mark Zuckerberg.
Right.
None of them finished college, and they're some of the most successful people in the world.
Those are some really big names.
They are.
And they certainly show that a college degree isn't the only way to be successful.
Right. But we also have to remember that their stories are very unique.
Okay.
They're not the norm, and there are plenty of careers where you absolutely need a college degree to even get your foot in the door.
I see. So it's not quite as simple as saying college isn't necessary anymore.
Right.
It sounds like it really depends on your individual goals.
Yeah.
And what you want to do.
Exactly. Think about it this way.
Okay.
You wouldn't try to become a surgeon without going to medical school, right?
Right.
Or a lawyer without going to law school.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So certain careers require a specific educational path.
Yes.
But what about jobs where a degree isn't a strict requirement?
Mm.
Is there still a benefit to going to college in those cases?
There can be. Even if a job doesn't require a degree, having one can definitely give you an advantage.
Okay.
Studies show that on average, college graduates in the U.S. earn almost twice as much as those with only a high school diploma over their lifetimes.
Wow. That's a pretty significant difference.
It is.
So a college degree can really have an impact on your earning potential.
It certainly can, and it's not just about the money either.
Oh, okay.
College grads tend to have lower unemployment rates.
Mm-hmm.
They also have more opportunities for career advancement.
So in a lot of ways, a college degree can be seen as an investment in your future.
Exactly. And even beyond the financial benefits, going to college can help you develop essential skills that are valuable in any field.
What kind of skills are we talking about here?
Things like critical thinking,
Okay.
problem solving, and communication.
Right.
These are things you learn and practice every day in a college environment.
Yeah.
They help you learn how to think for yourself, analyze information, and communicate your ideas effectively. Employers really value these skills.
They're the kind of skills that can help you in any job,
Yes,
no matter what field you're in.
that's right. And college also gives you a chance to broaden your horizons and connect with people from different backgrounds.
Okay.
You meet new people, experience new things, and learn about different perspectives.
So it's not just about academics.
No,
There's a social aspect to college as well that can be valuable for personal and professional growth.
absolutely. The friends and connections you make in college can last a lifetime, and those connections can be really helpful when you're launching your career.
That makes sense. But what about people who aren't sure if they're ready for college right after high school,
Yeah.
or people who can't afford the high cost of tuition? Are there other options out there?
Definitely, there are more alternatives to college now than ever before, and they're becoming increasingly popular. Things like boot camps, online courses, and vocational training are all gaining traction as viable paths to successful careers.
Okay, that's interesting. So there are other ways to learn and develop valuable skills outside of a traditional college setting.
Absolutely. And these alternatives often have different advantages.
Okay.
Compared to a 4-year college, for example, boot camps are much shorter and more intense.
Okay.
They focus on teaching very specific in-demand skills. You can go from having no coding experience to being a junior web developer in a matter of months.
Wow, that's really fast.
It is.
It sounds like boot camps are geared toward people who want to make a career change quickly,
Yeah,
or who are really focused on learning a specific skill set.
that's right. They're a great option for people who want to get into the workforce as soon as possible. And they're often much more affordable than a 4-year college degree.
So boot camps offer a more focused and accelerated path to a career.
Yes.
What about online courses? How do they compare?
Online courses are all about flexibility, and accessibility. Platforms like Coursera and Udemy offer thousands of courses in a huge range of subjects.
Wow.
And these courses are taught by professors from top universities and industry experts.
So you can learn from some of the best minds in the world from the comfort of your own home.
Exactly.
That's pretty amazing.
It is, and online courses are often much cheaper than traditional college courses. Plus, you can learn at your own pace and on your own schedule.
That sounds ideal for people who are juggling work or other commitments.
Uh-huh.
You could fit learning into your life rather than having to build your life around your classes.
Exactly. And then there's vocational training,
Right.
which is a great option for people who prefer a more hands-on approach to learning.
What kind of careers are we talking about with vocational training?
Vocational training programs focus on teaching practical skills for specific trades.
Yeah.
Things like plumbing, welding, electrical work, carpentry, and auto mechanics. These are all jobs that are in high demand and often pay very well.
And those are jobs that will always be needed.
Yeah.
No matter how much technology changes, people will always need their toilets fixed and their cars repaired.
Exactly. And one thing that's really interesting about vocational training is that it's becoming increasingly high-tech.
Really?
These days, a lot of these trades require a good understanding of computers and software, along with the traditional hands-on skills.
So even in those more traditional hands-on fields, technology is changing the game, it sounds like. No matter what career path you choose, you need to be adaptable and willing to keep learning new things.
Absolutely. The world is changing faster than ever, and the best way to stay ahead of the curve is to be a lifelong learner.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've talked about the high cost of college, the success stories of people who didn't go to college,
Right.
and the range of alternative learning paths available. It seems like there's no easy answer to the question whether college is still necessary.
That's right. There are many factors to consider.
And it sounds like the answer is going to be different for each person,
Yes.
depending on their individual goals, interests, and circumstances.
It really is a personal decision, but hopefully this conversation has given you some things to think about as you weigh your options.
We've just scratched the surface of this topic.
Yes.
In the next part of our episode, we'll delve deeper into the pros and cons of each path and talk about how to make the best decision for your unique situation.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned.
Okay. Welcome back to QuickSpeak.
Yeah.
We've been discussing the big question of whether college is still necessary in today's world. As we've seen, there's no easy answer.
That's right. That's a complex issue
It is.
with a lot of different angles to consider.
Exactly. So in this part of the episode, let's dig a little deeper into the pros and cons of the different paths we've talked about. We'll start with college.
Sounds good. We already touched on some of the potential benefits of a college degree, like increased earning potential and better job security.
Right.
What are some of the other advantages?
Well, one thing that often gets overlooked is the sheer variety of subjects you can study in college. You can explore different fields, discover new passions, and really broaden your horizons.
That's a good point. College exposes you to a wide range of ideas and perspectives, which can help you grow as a person and figure out what you're really interested in.
Exactly. It's a time for exploration and self-discovery, and along the way, you develop critical thinking skills, learn how to research and analyze information, and get better at expressing yourself clearly.
Yeah.
These are all valuable skills no matter what career you end up in.
So even if you don't end up using the specific knowledge you gained in your classes, the process of learning itself is beneficial. You're essentially learning how to learn.
Precisely, and those skills are transferable to any field. Another big advantage of college is the social aspect.
Okay.
You're surrounded by people your own age who are also figuring things out. You make lifelong friends, build your network, and learn how to collaborate with others.
Those connections can be really valuable, both personally and professionally.
Absolutely, and many colleges also have strong career services departments that can help you find internships, network with professionals, and prepare for the job market.
So it's not just about getting the degree.
Yeah.
Colleges also offer support and resources to help students transition into their careers.
That's right. But of course, college isn't perfect.
Oh, sure.
There are downsides to consider as well.
We've already talked about the cost.
Yeah.
Which is a major concern for many people.
Yes, college is expensive, and the rising cost of tuition is a real problem.
Yeah.
For many students, taking on a large amount of debt is unavoidable, and that debt can have a big impact on their financial future.
It's a significant investment.
It is.
And it's important to weigh that investment carefully against the potential return.
Exactly. Another thing to consider is the time commitment.
Right.
A traditional 4-year degree takes, well, 4 years to complete, and that's 4 years that you're not earning a full-time salary.
So there's an opportunity cost to consider as well.
Yeah.
You could be out in the workforce, gaining experience and earning money instead of being in school.
That's right. And for some people, that trade-off might not make sense, especially if they're eager to get started in their career or if they have other financial obligations.
Okay, so college has its pros and cons. What about some of those alternative paths we talked about, like boot camps? What are their advantages?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, boot camps are much shorter and more focused than a traditional college degree.
Right.
They can be a great way to learn specific in-demand skills quickly and efficiently.
And that speed and focus can be a big advantage in today's fast-paced job market.
Exactly. Employers are often looking for people with specific skills,
Okay.
and boot camps are designed to deliver those skills.
And because boot camps are shorter, they're also generally more affordable than a 4-year degree.
That's right. And many boot camps offer financing options or even scholarships to help make them more accessible.
So if you're looking for a more targeted approach to learning and you want to get into the workforce quickly, a boot camp could be a good option. What about online courses? What are their strengths?
Online courses are all about flexibility. You can learn at your own pace, on your own schedule from anywhere in the world. This is ideal for people who are juggling other commitments like work or family.
That's a big advantage for people who don't have the time or the resources to attend a traditional college.
Exactly. And as we mentioned earlier, online courses are often much more affordable than traditional college courses.
Plus, you have access to a huge variety of courses
Right.
on almost any subject you can imagine.
That's right. And many online courses are taught by professors from top universities, so you can be sure you're getting a quality education.
So online courses offer flexibility, affordability, and access to top-tier instructors.
It sounds like a pretty attractive package.
It is.
But are there any downsides?
There are a few things to keep in mind. First, online learning requires a lot of self-discipline.
Okay.
You need to be motivated to stay on track and meet deadlines without the structure of a traditional classroom setting.
That's a good point. It takes a certain type of learner to be successful in a completely online environment. It does, and it's also important to remember that not all online courses are created equal. There are some excellent programs out there.
Right.
But there are also some that are less reputable.
So it's important to do your research and choose wisely.
Absolutely. Look for courses offered by accredited institutions or organizations with a proven track record.
Okay.
Check reviews from other students.
Uh-huh.
Make sure the course aligns with your goals and the skills you're looking to develop.
It sounds like doing your homework is essential when considering online learning, just as it is with any other educational path.
Exactly. And finally, let's talk about vocational training.
We mentioned that vocational training is a great option for people who are more hands-on learners.
Yeah.
What are some of the other advantages?
One big advantage is that vocational training programs are very practical.
Okay.
They focus on teaching you the specific skills you need to succeed in a particular trade.
Right.
You're not learning abstract theory. You're learning how to do the job.
And that practical experience can be really valuable when you're entering the workforce.
Absolutely. Employers in the trades are often looking for people who can hit the ground running, and graduates of vocational training programs have the skills and experience to do just that.
Another benefit is that these jobs are often in high demand. As we mentioned earlier, people will always need plumbers, electricians, mechanics, and so on. These are essential services that can't be outsourced or automated.
That's right, and that means job security.
Plus, these trades often pay very well. In many cases, skilled tradespeople can earn just as much or even more than people with college degrees.
That's true, and the cost of vocational training is typically much lower than the cost of a 4-year college degree.
So you can get the training you need without taking on a lot of debt.
Exactly. But as with any educational path, there are some things to consider.
Okay.
One potential drawback is that vocational training is very specific. You're learning the skills for a particular trade.
Yeah.
And it might be difficult to transfer those skills to another field if you decide to change careers later on.
So it's a good idea to choose a trade that you're really passionate about and that you can see yourself doing for the long term.
Absolutely. And another thing to consider is that some people might view vocational training as less prestigious than a college degree.
That's unfortunate, but it's a reality that we need to acknowledge.
It is, but honestly, the perception of vocational training is changing. More and more people are recognizing the value of these skills and the importance of these jobs.
That's a good sign. It sounds like there are great opportunities out there for people who are willing to consider a path that's a little less traditional.
There definitely are. And I think it's important to remember that there's no one right answer to the question of what educational path is best. It really depends on your individual goals, interests, and circumstances.
That's a really important point. There's no need to compare yourself to others or feel pressured to follow a certain path just because it's what everyone else is doing.
Exactly. The key is to do your research, weigh your options carefully, and choose the path that feels right for you.
We've talked about the pros and cons of college and some of the most popular alternatives like boot camps, online courses, and vocational training. But there's another big piece of the puzzle that we need to talk about, and that's the job market itself.
That's right. The job market is constantly evolving, and understanding those changes is essential when making decisions about your education and your career.
So in the next part of our episode, we'll explore some of the trends shaping the future of work and talk about how you can prepare for the jobs of tomorrow, regardless of your chosen educational path. Stay tuned. Welcome back to QuickSpeak. We've been having a really interesting conversation about whether college is still necessary in today's world. We've talked about the pros and cons of a traditional four-year degree, and we've explored some exciting alternative paths like boot camps, online courses, and vocational training.
And we've seen that there's no one-size-fits-all answer. The best path for you depends on your individual goals, interests, and circumstances.
Exactly. But there's another big piece of this puzzle that we need to talk about, and that's the job market itself. The world of work is changing rapidly, and those changes have big implications for how we think about education and careers.
That's right. The jobs of the future are going to look very different from the jobs of today, and to be successful in this evolving landscape, we need to be adaptable, curious, and constantly learning new things.
So what are some of the key trends that are shaping the future of work? What skills will be in high demand in the years to come?
Well, one of the biggest trends is the rise of automation. Machines are becoming increasingly sophisticated, and they're capable of performing many tasks that were once done by humans.
It sounds a little bit scary, to be honest. Does this mean that robots are going to take all our jobs?
Not necessarily. While it's true that some jobs will be displaced by automation, many new jobs will also be created. The key is to focus on developing skills that are difficult for machines to replicate.
So what kind of skills are we talking about?
Skills that require creativity. Critical thinking, problem-solving, and emotional intelligence. Machines are great at following instructions and performing repetitive tasks, but they're not so good at thinking outside the box, coming up with new ideas, or understanding human emotions.
That makes sense. So even in a world where technology is becoming increasingly important, those uniquely human skills will still be valuable.
Absolutely. In fact, they'll be more valuable than ever. Another big trend that's shaping the future of work is the shift towards a more globalized and interconnected economy.
What does that mean exactly?
It means that businesses are operating across borders more than ever before. Teams are working remotely from different countries, and companies are competing in a global marketplace.
So it's becoming increasingly important to be able to communicate and collaborate effectively with people from different cultures and backgrounds.
That's right. Skills like cross-cultural communication, adaptability, and global awareness are becoming essential in the modern workplace.
And those are skills that you can develop through travel language learning and exposure to different cultures.
Exactly. And those experiences can be just as valuable as a traditional education when it comes to preparing for the global job market.
So it sounds like the future of work is all about being adaptable, creative, and globally minded.
It is, and it's important to remember that learning doesn't stop when you graduate from high school or college. In fact, in today's rapidly changing world, it's more important than ever to be a lifelong learner.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
How can people embrace this idea of lifelong learning? What are some practical steps they can take?
Well, one thing you can do is to stay curious and be open to new experiences. Read books, watch documentaries, attend workshops, take online courses. There are so many ways to learn and grow outside of a traditional classroom setting.
And don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone and try new things.
That's right. You never know where you might discover a new passion or develop a valuable skill.
Another thing you can do is to build your network and connect with people in your field of interest.
Networking is essential for career success, no matter what path you choose. Attend industry events, join online communities, reach out to people you admire for informational interviews.
And don't underestimate the power of mentorship. Finding someone who can guide you and offer advice can be incredibly valuable.
Absolutely. A mentor can help you navigate the challenges of your career, provide insights into your industry, and open doors to new opportunities.
So to recap, the future of work is all about adaptability, creativity, global awareness, and lifelong learning.
That's a great summary.
And the good news is that there are many paths to success, whether you choose college, a bootcamp online courses, vocational training, or a combination of different approaches. The key is to be proactive, curious, and adaptable.
And to never stop learning.
That's great advice. So whether you're just starting out on your career journey or you're looking to make a change, remember that you have options.
Do your research, explore different paths, and don't be afraid to think outside the box.
And most importantly, be passionate about what you do when you're genuinely interested in your work. It doesn't feel like work at all. That's so true.
Well, this has been a fascinating discussion. We've covered a lot of ground, but hopefully we've given you some food for thought as you navigate the exciting world of education and careers. And for our English language learners out there, don't forget to visit our website in the description for more resources and vocabulary. From today's episode, we release new episodes every week, so subscribe to QuickSpeak so you don't miss out. Thanks for listening.